pour your whiskey back into the bottle and get out.
New for 96. With your hosts, Kevin McCauley and Chris Nguyen.
I like your new haircut.
Thank you.
I like that you went with my suggestion. You got the Rachel.
I've had the Rachel several times.
I'm
yes.
telling you, it's coming back. It's
Yeah.
coming back. The 90s
Yeah.
are back.
I watched a movie with Cameron Diaz, and I was like, oh, that looks like what my hair looks like right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hers is a little less fake blonde, but that's fine. It's fine. It'll grow out.
Yes.
So this is our perhaps year-end episode. We might record one more before.
We might, yeah, we probably won't even release this by New Year's because of our editing schedule.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I've got like an array of celebratory whiskeys for us to imbibe upon, mentally lubricate with.
God damn it.
So we'll start off with the Balvenie 21.
Wow. Yeah. Good. Don't know if we got a good sound there. You might have to pour more into my glass right next to the mic.
Yeah, we'll splice in a cartoon glug glug
Oh,
sound.
yeah.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
Oh, wow.
What do you think?
That's quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
This bottle will go down easy.
yeah. Kevin just muted his mic, but he asked for a Coca-Cola to mix with this.
You've got swizzle sticks, right, for stirring?
Yeah, I
Okay.
do. I do believe we will have to cut some of this silence out, but
It's your turn to edit.
I edited last time.
No, you didn't.
That trick never works.
It worked last time. It did work last time. Yeah, viewers will note that I recorded I edited the last two. You'll be able to tell from the lack of quality and long pauses.
Yeah.
It's multiple times it's been like I've said it sounds good to me, and you're like, there's a 2-minute gap after the intro.
No, it's fine. I like how you filled those gaps with just sound effects of flatulence, so which is the equivalent of the quality of content that we put out here on New for 96.
Oh, yeah.
You did not. I said that. I actually kind of popped out of the bush with that one. So.
Yeah, I was drinking. I was imbibing, as
You were
weirdly
shooting
put it.
like this Balvenie.
No, I was not, because of this glass.
Okay, now you're just spitting it back out into your glass. You can't redo it. Okay.
Because of the glass,
Yeah.
you have to tip it like vertically to get a drop.
It's a whiskey dram.
I know, but I'm just explaining why I had my entire head tilted back.
I'm sorry you're not used to this because normally you get the solo cup, but it's fine. Like, you
Okay,
have to learn how to drink out of proper glassware.
At my house, I have these Hellcat, like I got these like free Hellcat cups that are like washable plastic cups that look like a solo cup.
Yeah.
But it's like a reusable cup.
Yeah.
But looks like a red Solo cup, and it has the Hellcat logo. And I use it every day for iced coffee
Oh my God.
for the last like 3 years.
Isn't that
And I have 3 of them somehow.
just a regular solo cup
Well,
that
it's
you wash
thicker.
over and over?
It's thick plastic.
So it's 2 of them stacked together?
Yes.
Yeah. Where did
Yeah.
you get this solo cup? Spencer's?
No, it was like a freebie at like a
Oh.
automotive thing.
Do you think Spencer's is still around? Spencer's Gifts?
Um,
Like the cornerstone of every mall in America?
I don't know. There was Spencer's and Gadzooks, and it was like a real overlapping Venn diagram of
Yeah.
demographic and market. And I feel like one prevailed and is probably still there, and one is gone.
They
But
probably
I'm not willing to put money on which one.
probably merged.
I don't know about that.
Spenzooks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Gadzooks by Spencer's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think they were always like directly across from each other too.
Yes.
And they would just like, stare at each other with competitive glares.
Yeah. One of them, I say they were the same thing, but like one of them would have like weird, like kind of like music or like maybe like, concert videotapes and stuff that you could buy. And the other one was just like female body inspector t-shirts and glow in the dark posters for Korn.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh my God. You know what? When I was looking for Radwood attire, I was just like, I was having a hard time finding like an appropriate shirt of some kind because I really wanted to dress up for Radwood SoCal, but I just like, it did not happen. Like I was looking online everywhere. So I ended up going to the Galleria, which is like the most crowded mall in Houston. It is huge,
Mm-hmm.
and I regretted it immediately. So I ended up going to like I was like, oh, where do they sell like like vintage-ish t-shirts? And so I went to Urban Outfitters. It just seemed really stupid paying like $60 for like a fake vintage shirt.
Oh yeah.
And then on the way out, there was a Hot Topic.
Uh-oh.
So I went in there.
You didn't go to Torrid?
I did not go to Torrid.
Okay.
It is literally like stepping back into the late 90s, early 2000s, I guess, whenever Hot Topic was hot. Or is it still hot? I don't really know, but like it has not changed one bit. So I think like the same band shirts have been on the wall for the last 20 years. But anyways, I did not buy anything there. So I left and I just ended up like wearing a what did I wear? I wore a flannel around my waist. Thank you for lending me one of yours. It was appropriately out of fashion, just enough to fit in the show.
I did not lend you anything, but it was very funny that your throwback 30-year-old getup was my daily wear.
Yes.
The last time I went to the Galleria was for the Polestar thing because I had to park my car before I could pick up the Polestar. I had to park there, and even though I was just visiting the parking lot, I had to park in a garage and go through the mall to get there. But when we left, we just walked up the automotive ramp.
The like automotive only ramp. It was basically like a freeway on ramp.
It was not, but it was fine.
Yeah. We almost got run over once by that Wrangler that was like either coming up or down, I forget, but
no one was going up. We should have just walked on the upward lane.
Yeah. There was also an elevator, but that would have been
The elevator was
stupid.
broken. No, the elevator didn't work.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Did you use the button?
Yes.
All right.
I used the button. It didn't work.
That's the only troubleshooting I've got for elevators.
I had to wander to a different, I had to wander to the mall entrance because the elevator was broken.
Yeah. That reminds me, I don't know why, of that story you told me of the lady at IAH who thought that our underground tram at the airport went places. Because we don't have public transit here, really. We do. It's just more of like an experiment than anything. It doesn't work here.
Right.
And there's a tram underground at the huge international airport here, and it looks like a subway, except that it doesn't have like a roof.
Right.
And
it's open air, but just from like poor ceiling.
Yeah.
Poor seals. So I think all this is common in a lot of airports that are big. There's a interterminal like train between once you're through security, but there's also one on the outside of security. So if you have to get from one parking garage to another, or you're gonna take a tram to get from one terminal to another before you've checked in through security. So should I just
just a very long explanation for
well, no, you're explaining the tram, so
Yeah.
I'm saying so the one that's outside is really janky, and you're in this like weird carpeted underground that is very odd in
Imagine
70s.
if like the New York subway was like carpeted.
I know. Yeah, Pizza Rat would have more traction.
Yeah.
So I was on this thing because there was a giant line to security. So the guy was like, "Hey, you got to go to this other terminal. It'll be anyway." It ended up taking 30 minutes anyway. But there was like these two women, and I think they were from like I don't know if they were from Mexico. They had like an accent. They were very cosmopolitan looking and ready to come here to shop or something. And she's asking people in this tram, and the trams only hold like 6 people, and she's like, which is the train that gets me to downtown Houston? And this lady just like her eyes just got so wide, and she just looked away. Like it was like, oh Lord, you're on the wrong train. Like this, we don't have that. You're in the wrong city.
Yeah, you're in the wrong city. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have just said, "You're on it. Just keep going."
Yeah. Yeah. Our downtown consists of just that Marriott at IAH.
Yeah, exactly. We do have a metro rail here, but like the first one, which they built 20 years ago, literally was just like north-south downtown for 15 years. And then 5 years ago, they added like some perpendicular lines, but they still don't go anywhere useful.
I mean, it truly, like, I don't want to sound conspiratorial, but it does seem like in Houston, public transportation is on purpose bad to discourage anyone from using it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like I would say, and LA is kind of like that. It doesn't have like great public transit, but like somehow it is a little bit better. And I say that having never used it there, of course, because we always rent like 2 cars every time we go.
Yeah, I used it when I was staying with Jeff and went and saw Derek and Steve at. We went to a bar that was like in a train station.
Oh, okay.
It was very cool. And it took me a while to figure out, but it was like
like a real train
serviceable.
station?
It kind of reminded me of like Grand Central Terminal, like maybe a little bit less grandeur, but still it was really nice. It was very old, and I think it had subways and real trains.
Yeah.
I think.
Did you notice that
Whatever you're about to say.
I was about to ask a serious question.
Okay, carry on.
Did you notice if there was the shark from Jaws popping out of a nearby lake as the tram rocked back and forth?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we were at Universal Studios.
I think I know that. I think I know that. Stop.
Come to mention it. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Hey, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What is this that we're doing?
I don't know.
Is this another episode of
New for 96?
I really
Okay.
thought you were going to say, what are we doing? I already did it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you did already do that.
I
I
know.
tried to announce it earlier.
I get that.
Didn't really work out.
Yeah, we'll have to cut everything out before this, so
Yeah.
people will think this is the beginning.
Why don't you auto-tune me like you did the last time?
You liked it.
Did I?
No, I don't know.
I don't think so.
You left it in. Or
I
you
guess
let
I
me
left
leave
it in. Yeah. Well, you said, did you listen? And I lied.
You always listen.
I know. I do. Yeah. It's how I know what to bleep out.
Meanwhile, when you
talk.
ask me if an episode is okay, it's like you get a response like 4 seconds later, like, yeah, it's good.
yeah.
Excuse me, could you make sure this hour-long episode sounds good? It's like, yes.
You set it to like 10x listen, right? I actually don't understand how people listen to podcasts on a fast speed because, like, that is assuming that you are doing something while you're listening. And so I don't understand how you can pay attention to a podcast. I mean, they just offer the speed up option, but I don't know if people actually use it.
I don't know how anyone listens to this podcast at 1x speed.
I slow it down until we sound like whales singing.
Oh, that probably is better.
Yeah. So, and then it goes on for like 24 days. So it's amazing. Yeah. So we are.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I have like. Okay, so I've laid out so we've had the Balvenie 21, there's the Balvenie 14. We're going we should have gone like uphill. We're going like downhill.
No, you can start with the best stuff. And then your
that was supposed to be like a
taste buds are
celebratory
numbed.
thing. Yeah. Like that was the first time you and I have ever cheers. You've even cheersed your car. And like with
we got to tell everyone to
actual-
watch that video. The video of my car, the 5-year video. We probably talked about it on here, but it's it's my only video of my last like 10 that hasn't bombed.
Yeah, well.
But
the other ones were just like inappropriate rants. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I've got a few more of those coming up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, as I was saying, we're going downhill here.
Oh, I know.
I imagine that by the end, so Kevin and I once went to a whiskey tasting for Glenlivet.
We've told this story.
Have we? I don't know, but so they had like 4 different Glenlivets, and we've gone to a few of these because it is also free.
Yeah.
And they're actually very good. One time we were standing at a table with a guy.
It's the podcaster's choice.
Podcaster's choice. It is. Actually, we usually have Glenlivet, but
Always.
I am literally out. I had like the last bottle that we bought for the podcast recording.
I bought.
Literally the last podcast recording. Yes, I'm sorry that my the gallon jug that I normally get was not delivered. So
this was the biggest capacity they had. They were all out.
Oh, I guess
I would have gotten a larger, probably not the gallon, but I would have gotten at least a liter.
You should have gone up to the clerk and whispered my name. Then they would have rolled a wooden barrel down from the elevator.
Invited me to the speakeasy at the back.
Yeah.
The Chris Lounge.
Yeah, by the dumpster.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyways, we were standing there, and I guess the guy just got tired of the presentation. It's like an hour long, if not more. I don't remember, but he makes it halfway through, and then he just pours like the balance of 3 whiskeys into one glass, and then just downs it and leaves.
And he's 1 minute into a 40-minute presentation,
Yeah.
which was actually interesting.
It is
It
interesting.
was cool. They talk about what you're tasting, the notes. Try this one, then we're gonna do this one, and this is what makes them different. This is the process. This guy downs it all, shoots it, walks out.
Yeah, to
and
be
he was
fair.
at our table. It was like a table of 4.
Yeah. See, he wasn't doing the performative, paying attention thing that we were doing, because we wanted to do the same thing, but we stayed. We were proper. But Plus, we didn't want to be like the people who like downed it and then because the dark auditorium, of course, you open the door and suddenly it's just like a beacon of light as
Oh
you walk
yeah,
out.
yeah.
But okay, so we've got a Balvenie 14, and then we've got a Glenlivet 12, which is what we normally drink. I've got just a little bit of that, and then
I love
Jameson.
that Lamborghini test driver,
Yeah,
Valentino Balvenie.
yeah. No, there you go.
That's so terrible. Please cut that out.
I will not. I will
Please.
turn it up,
All right.
amplify it.
All right. Auto tune it.
Yeah. And the Jameson Black Barrel, which actually I didn't even realize I had. It was like in the back of my whiskey cabinet of sort. And there's a lot of it, so we're going to drink some of that.
Oh,
That's
boy.
why it's in the lineup.
All right.
So there you have it.
Can we move away from whiskey? Talk about
If we must.
driving.
All right.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Last weekend was Autopia
Yeah.
2099.
That was a horrible juxtaposition, by the way.
Mine?
No. Well,
What,
yeah,
you
a little bit. Just
Yes.
like, shall we move away from the drinking and get onto the driving?
That was the
That was the joke?
Yeah, that was the joke.
All right.
We don't joke about that here?
Never.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
Or do we?
Oh,
Oh, God.
this is so exhausting. Do you realize anyway.
The dumb thing is, this is literally how we talk, too. This is not even like a put on.
No. This is the most real that it gets that we've done.
It's pretty awful.
So, last weekend was Autopia 2099, which is a electric EV show. Like, think of Radwood, but for EVs, and that's what. And I was a co-founder along with Bradley Brownell, me, Ethan Tufts, Jeff Bucker, Chad Kirchner,
Okay.
and it is. I think that's all of them. It is a EV show, and we had the first one at Optimus Studios in LA last weekend, and it was really amazing. It was really cool to work on something like this, and I had the responsibility of deciding where the cars would be parked in a make it like cool like Luftgekühlt when we
Yeah.
don't know what's coming and when they're coming, and
Yeah.
it's like it was good though. We had a good turnout and a good arrangement. And it was an amazing venue.
It looked great.
It was great, and I think it was a huge success because all of the sponsors were really happy with it, and we all had fun.
Yeah. And who are the manufacturers that came?
Well, Nissan. It was presented by Nissan, so
Yep.
Nissan came with a big presence, and they brought like the two Arias and a Formula E car and a Leaf, and they had a whole big display set up. Livewire, which it's like the Harley Davidson spinoff, and they had a huge presence.
Nice.
That was incredible. Like I can't even. It's so cool what they did because they got race service to do their build out. So this venue was a studio, like a photography filming studio. It had like different studio parts, and then had this big coffee bar building, kind of its own building, and. So race service is like it's like this is what I would be doing if I was performing at a high level and had more skills. It's like PR, marketing, design, and everything. One-stop shop for automotive content and visual marketing and things. I can't explain it. Like they represent Daniel Ricciardo. Like they are his manager, but they also they have Ornamental Conifer is like an artist who is an artist in resident. They have this amazing space. They painted the walls for Livewire. Like it very cool. They furnished it with all these plants. They brought in the bikes. They had amazing displays with shirts that they made up just for this. They had like helmets and artwork they put on the walls just all for Livewire in this area. And then they were also manning the coffee bar and making incredible like coffee cocktails, like not cocktails like this or like drinks, but it was like the E&T.
If you call whiskey and a cube of ice a cocktail.
There was an espresso and tonic, which I thought was very cool. It was very good, and it was like, this is tasty. So they were great.
Okay. And did people bring like EVs of all sorts? Like was there anything vintage? Did anyone like roll out their secret EV1 or something?
I mean, we would have liked that. I think even though Brad and everyone except me did an incredible job of getting the word out and
Yep.
everything, I think it was still just like I think people kind of took some of those people, like as far as the EV1 people with the collections with an EV1, I think it was like maybe they were taking a wait and see, or it just didn't still get on the radar
Yeah.
as widely as we are hoping. So hopefully with the coverage from this event,
Yeah.
it's this is the cool EV show.
Yeah.
Because there are things like there's something called like Electric Expo or something, which is like a trade show, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and we are the opposite of that. This is like the Radwood vibe or the Lufka Cult vibe, but for EVs.
Yeah.
And we had a guy who had a 1951 Jaguar with a Model 3 swap,
Whoa.
and it was cool as hell.
That's cool.
And Ethan Tufts did a great Hello Road video about this. So I learned about all the cars from the video because
Yeah.
when I was there, I was just shooting, trying to get as many shots as I could.
Yeah.
So that Jag was cool. There was an electric Corvair that won Best in Show.
Nice.
And there was a guy with his 2002 RAV4 EV, all original. Like he still drives it, like
Wow.
super cool. And
Where-
he was so proud of it and so excited to talk about it, and just it was cool. And I didn't realize until I watched Ethan's video, but the
Tesla RAV4?
no. This is
Pre
previous.
that?
Previous.
Oh, you mean like the first gen?
It's a first gen, but it was made like the first gen. I think they stopped making in 2000, and this was like, they made the old body with in 2002 for this EV.
Wow. Okay.
And it was a 4-door. It was really cool.
Yeah.
He said it has a range of like I think it was like 80 miles or something like that, and it's
it's like a
degraded
Leaf.
just a little bit, but they use it every day for
That's cool.
for around town and everything. It's a great car.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was like just a lot of cool stuff. AEM was a big sponsor, and they brought an electric S2000. And,
Nice.
And I, like companies like that, people don't know, like, hey, we do all this stuff for EV swaps.
Yeah.
It's like every day the technology gets better for being able to swap something into another car, and like having the tools to do the management, tools to tune and control it. So that's the kind of thing that AEM is doing, and it's really exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be an engineer. Like I think it's getting to the point where you don't have to be an engineer like the guy with the Jaguar is, and a former Tesla engineer. I don't think you have to be that high level to be able to do some of this stuff. So it's an exciting time for sure.
Yeah.
Rivian was there. We saw Shaheen,
Yep.
friend of the pod. And if he's listening to this, it's probably weird that we're talking about him, but
Hi, Shaheen.
he brought 2 Rivians. One was a customer employee car, and
Nice.
and one was a demo whatever car.
Nice. I
Company
really
car.
want to see one in person.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Like it was such a crowd pleaser to see this car because a lot of people haven't seen them, and it was a nice contrast because we had all these cars, old cars, new cars. There was like a crazy modified Model 3. There was 3 Taycans, but the Rivian definitely was its own thing. It definitely looked completely different. And
Yeah.
we had and the employee Rivian was it has like the factory tent and everything,
Oh,
and
nice.
he had, or I don't know if it's factory, but he had a tent on the back, and that was all set up, and people were climbing all over both of these.
Yeah.
And it was
That's cool.
super cool.
Yeah.
Even climbing in them in the like the passage
Yeah.
side trunk thing, and the guy that brought his had like an EV motorcycle, like dirt bike that he kind of been like working on himself.
Oh, wow.
Like he kind of built it himself, I think.
Yeah.
He said it was like a 3-year project or something, and that was mounted on the back.
Yeah.
And
That's
we
cool.
gave them like I think it was Best Domestic Award,
Yeah.
which was cool. And Brad was like the bike on the back was a big factor for that, 'cause
Yeah.
it's just cool to
It's
see
like
it.
a snapshot of the future.
Yeah. So I actually rode in the Rivian RT1, I believe it is.
Yes.
Is that right?
I think so.
Okay, that's the truck.
yeah.
R1T.
Yes.
R1T, yes. I wrote Shaheen gave me a ride in it. It was super cool. I mean, it did the trick, it did the EV trick where it gives you the neck snapping acceleration.
Yeah.
It's definitely surreal being that high and doing that. And but the interior is great. Like
Yeah.
he gave me kind of the rundown, and it is like they were inspired by furniture and beautiful wood
Yeah.
credenzas and things to make this dash, and it's a nice place to be. I wouldn't have noticed if Shaheen hadn't pointed out, but it's like to control the vent directions
Yeah.
for your own air vent, it's like on a screen, which is a little
Oh, so that's like a Model 3
I
and a
I, I
Model Y.
suppose, but it's a nice interior. It's really impressive. I was I I mean, I wasn't a skeptic. I was just like a kind of wait and see. Like it's cool. I'm not ready to crown it the greatest thing ever
Yeah.
until they start producing them and building them. But I mean,
And now they are.
they're building them.
Yeah.
It's on the road.
They're
They're producing
delivering.
them. They're
Yeah.
delivering it. Like they waited until it was ready and did it correctly. So hats off. So it's really cool to see.
You can uncross your arms because there was a time where you were just like, I don't know if they're gonna make anything.
I was skeptical of everyone that was so quick to proclaim this as the greatest EV when it's like they hadn't built any. Because
Yeah.
it's like we all know Tesla had its struggles with making
Yeah.
cars when it's like, oh, when you're actually producing large volumes of cars, like it's difficult.
Yeah.
So
No, it's true. And I have to say, like, I think the Rivian and even the F-150 Lightning, I think right now I'm the most excited for those, even though I don't really like pickups. And they're not neither of those are probably like vehicles for me, but I'd probably have a Taken if anything. But I am most excited about those just
Yeah.
because I think it just fits what the market is asking for right now, and
Right.
it does it really well, the packaging.
yeah.
So, I mean, I obviously haven't seen either in person, but from what I've seen so far, it looks pretty impressive.
yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
To clarify my analogy earlier about between Tesla, I'm not comparing the two. It's just to say Tesla had all these problems. Once they start making huge scales of vehicles, they had problems. They've made like 1 million vehicles,
Yeah.
which I find like, hey, like I'm gonna give some credit where credit is due. This other thing where they've made only pre-production. I don't think you can declare it better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the state I was in before. So now that Rivian is producing them and they seem to have their shit together, it's good to see and it's cool. I don't know if my clarification helped at all, but
I think it made it worse.
I know. So also, I got to see the we always talk about the awards at Radwood.
Yeah.
And this time for Autopia.
Yes.
I mean, this is very Radwood adjacent because Brad is Brad's the only person involved that knows how to run an event. He's
Yeah.
the person that knows how to organize an event. He knows how to
the
promote
event
an event.
maker.
So to be involved in the awards process, I designed the trophies, I created them, and he just gave me free reign. I said, I want to make like 10 awards.
Yeah.
I just want to have like weird stuff. So we had like an award for like the slowest vehicle, the fastest vehicle, like, speculative, of course.
Yeah.
Like the most aerodynamic vehicle, just, kind of a gut instinct.
Yeah.
And so to like the awards process, or it's like basically in like 5 minutes, it's like, what should we do? It's like we have like a notes file and we're just like, it should be this. Oh no, we've got this for that. That should be. You're just kind of like not winging it, but it's fun. It's very spontaneous.
Yeah.
It's very in the moment, and it was cool. But everyone was thrilled that won awards, which was really cool. And everyone like did a little, spoke a little bit like at a Radwood, and everyone was excited about like being seen.
Yeah.
Like it's like these people are passionate about their EVs. They're just as passionate about cars as anyone else.
Sure.
But they've never seen any kind of recognition, and they were just so like grateful, like, hey, this thing exists and it's really cool, and
Yeah.
like I'm being recognized for this car that normally like is just not up people's alley.
It's edging. I mean, EVs are edging, if not are now part of the mainstream.
Yeah.
So it's no longer this kind of like Ed Begley fringe like
Right.
endeavor.
Right.
So, and yeah, and also like you said, they're just completely they're very invested, in like the EV lifestyle, and
Yeah.
so it makes sense that that they would be. excited about that versus like even like a car show. I feel like just like just a regular generic car show of some kind. I think there are people who are just like kind of
Right.
mildly interested or just not even interested at all. They just, it's
Right.
something to do. Versus here where you know that everyone is just kind of all on board.
Totally. Totally. So that was exciting and very cool. There was a guy who won an award who brought his own live wire motorcycle, which he had set some kind of like trans America record
Whoa.
for crossing the U.S. in an electric motorcycle, which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
But yeah, it was awesome. There were three Taycans there.
Yeah.
The blue one was the one that Brad did that.
The TV show.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And the pink Sport Turismo.
Yep.
Frozen Berry Sport Turismo Turbo S.
Yes.
And the red Carmine Red, one of the Carmine Red GTS Sport Turismos that we saw was there, courtesy of Porsche themselves. And so that the blue Taycan was like, this was its last event before retirement, which is funny. I got to move it. I got to move that. I got to move the pink one.
Yeah.
We went to dinner and Brad took us all in the Frozen Berry Sport Turismo Turbo S.
Nice.
We got to see what it can do a little bit. And it is such a cool car.
Was it the 2x2 seating one? Is that what they are? Oh, no, I guess it wouldn't be that because you have to be able to fold down the seats.
Right. It's not because we somehow fit 5 people in it.
Yeah. Okay.
After dinner.
I really want to explore one of those. Just like I guess a Panamera Sport Turismo is not exactly utilitarian. Like I think the hatch is extremely small, but I'm just kind of curious like what they've done like in the hatch area, if there are like cool little details or whatnot that make it a hatch wagon. I don't know, is it considered a wagon? I guess so.
Yeah,
it's a shooting
is.
brake.
It's not a shooting brake because the shooting brake is typically a 2-door. I mean, I know we're in the land of like 4-door SUV coupes, so words don't mean things, but I would say it's a proper wagon.
Okay. Yeah. Because that is, I guess.
I mean, I guess maybe
there's no governing.
Maybe that's not the rule of shooting brakes.
There's no governing
the CLS
board.
shooting brake is a 5-door, so
yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, let's just. I would just
call it a
an
wagon.
impractical wagon.
Yeah. Yeah. Also call it. I mean, like even like the CLS shooting brake, I'd still consider it a wagon.
Yeah.
So, but that's very cool. And then what was like the oldest thing that was there?
That Jag, that 1951 Jag was super cool. But there was an IMEV, like that RAV4 was cool. There was the Corvair, which was from the 60s, and the guy that built that was just a cool guy. He's like, I built V8s, I built LS swaps, I did all these things. I'm always a diehard Chevy guy, and I found out that they made an electric Corvair in the 60s with like an 80-mile range.
Wait, so was this it?
This was not it, but he was like, I'm going to build my own.
Yeah.
Using modern tech.
80 miles back in the 60s?
I know. That's what he's like. He's like, the Leaf did that in 2010. So
yeah, that thing must have been packed with batteries throughout the interior compartment. Like, I can't imagine how they would have done that then.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what battery tech that would be because it's got to be like nickel halide or something.
Yeah.
It's just.
Wow.
So,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So what was the oldest factory built EV? Was it that RAV4?
Yeah, the RAV4.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so.
Were like hybrids like in spirit of the show?
Yeah. There was an Insight, a good Insight, and we gave that the coefficient of drag award.
Nice. Makes sense.
Yeah, but
I'd love to have seen like a first gen. You still kind of see him puttering around with that first gen Prius.
It was welcome. We just didn't see any. I think they probably came and parked in the spectator lot. Like, no one wants to see this, and we're like, yeah, we do.
Certain all of the batteries on those must be just flat by now, and they're getting a lot
of them though.
Yeah, I think they're puttering around getting like 24 miles per gallon or something. But they're kind of like retro cool now in a way. So Kevin's making grabby hands. The bottles are in front of you.
All right.
Make your choice wisely.
All right.
Judging.
This is the one you want me to drink, so
yeah, it's hard to say.
You can just cut out this dead air.
Yes.
So
what Kevin doesn't know is I've actually filled that with rancid iced tea.
Mike's Hard Twisted Tea.
Yeah, that's
Steph had a post on Instagram that had like it was like a milk jug with like PDK fluid, and she was like the forbidden iced tea. It was very funny. I liked it. It's a good post. Friend of the pod.
Indeed.
So
Yes.
after the event,
Yeah.
we wrapped up, and there was an after party at Race Service.
Yeah.
So I just was singing the praises of Race Service, but I hate like how much I was won over by, like, their facility is like designed to make white bearded men in the creative industry swoon.
Yes.
That's
I saw that.
What it was and does.
I actually
and
didn't know. I saw the pictures from that, and I didn't know that was. So that was at the agency.
Yeah, their agency. It's
Okay.
like a car shop. Like they do like YouTube builds, and they have like 6 garage bays that are
Wow.
all styled, like all like different rooms kind of.
Yeah.
They're all closed off except for like 1 or 2. So
Yeah.
you can see one is the Conifer like artist studio.
Yeah.
And then they have, well, there's 6 bays that close, and then there's like other garage space that's just like opened up. And there
Yeah.
was this 348 build there that was cool for a
Whoa.
348. There was but one of those bays was open, and it was like roped off, but there was just like a new Shark Blue GT3 in this like very cool like studio type garage.
In my brain, I was still thinking you were talking about like electric conversions.
No, this is I know.
It's like,
this
whoa, I
was-
can't believe
this
someone
was
built
at
an
Race
electric-
Service, but I was just freaking out over all of these cars and just the aesthetic of this place, and they had the live wires around.
Yeah.
And it's cool. You should look at pictures of it online. I didn't really take too many pictures, but
Yeah.
it's just a cool place. I did talk to one of the people from Race Service named Taylor, and he had a very nice dark blue. I don't know if it was lapis luxury blue. I hope it was dark
Yeah.
blue 986S, like
Ooh.
exactly like mine, but like
Yeah.
2000 fried eggs, all amber.
Nice.
Just really cool, and he was so excited about it. We chatted about the car because it was parked at Autopia outside, and I was like, I love your car.
Nice.
I used to have one, and I nerded out
Turbo
about
twists.
it a little bit. Turbo twists,
Nice.
yeah. It was cool, but he's driven it a bunch all over. He bought it this past year.
Yeah.
So cool guy, cool car, nice to see.
Yeah.
But I got to see Shaheen's Cayman
Yeah.
at outside Race Service. Also, the TVR Sajaris pulled up. Not
really?
Not the Tuscan. So
Right.
the same guy who was like a former model owns.
Former model, now TVR collector.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. It's not a very long line
Yeah.
to connect.
No.
Supposedly they are like imported legally into Canada, and now they're on like a tourist visa in America.
Okay.
So that raises no flags.
No, not at all.
So, but same guy owns the Tuscan that was at Redwood
yeah.
and the Sajaris, which is the one with like the plexi gurney flap spoiler, which is really
Okay,
cool, and the
yeah.
crazy motorcycle exhaust that sticks out the sides. So he drove it up, but yeah, I saw Shaheen's 981 Cayman. It's
Macadamia nut brown.
it's really cool. Like he showed me and Brad all the touches.
Yeah.
And Brad, who is not impressed by Porsches at all, or at least not impressed by 911s,
Yeah.
but I guess he's impressed by Porsches that aren't 911s.
Yeah.
He was impressed. He was like, I should do a thing about this because it's so unique. But the details, I didn't know all the details. He's got like, it's the tan interior with like turbo 18-way seats. He's got gold. He had the Cayman badge in gold. He's got chrome window trim.
Yeah.
He said it's very much like a G model type build, but for a Cayman, which
Yeah.
it sounds weird, but it's
Well,
it-
post a pic.
It makes sense. It's got the BBS wheels with polished lips.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Looks
Those
really
wheels.
good. He's got the Heritage badge. It's like from the Heritage edition.
Yeah.
The orange badge. Many other things. He documented them all, and I couldn't remember them all. But it's a neat car, and it's an amazing sounding exhaust. Like,
Yeah.
it sounds awesome when he took off.
To listen to it. I've
Yeah.
not heard it, but
Yeah.
you might see him around LA with the plate GT Faux
That's right.
FAUX.
That's it. Yeah.
That'd be him.
Yeah.
I was hoping to see him the last time we were there for Radwood a few weeks
Yeah.
before that.
Next time we'll have to go for a drive. I know I said like I would love to see the car again. I would love to see it like on the crest or something. I know
Yeah.
it's funny because like the last time we talked about going to LA and I said anytime I come out here, I want to make sure I can just drive something on those roads because they're so good. And
Yeah.
then this past time, I'm like, I'm going and I'm not renting a car.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing that. And I would have had time, but I just didn't want to rent a car because I waited so long to do travel and everything that it just would have been crazy expensive.
I thought about coming up. It was just gonna be too quick of a trip, but I had looked. There wasn't a lot to rent, but I kind of wanted to try out like a Model 3 Performance. Like there were a few on Turo for not that much. And speaking of GT foes, you
Yes.
did drive recently a GT Throw 3, an actual
Throw,
GT3. Yeah,
Yes.
I was trying to make that rhyme. It did not
Yeah.
work out.
Yes. Well, we need to have Jordan. We need to have Jordan on here again.
Yes.
Actually, it does. It actually like somehow having Lord Crikeyton on does increase our listenership. Like our ratings are good when he is on.
Yeah.
He's a charming
Will you
man.
pick up
Yeah.
the Australian
So
audience?
our friend Jordan, last name unpronounceable, from Modern Air Cooled.
Rumelad.
Yes.
Yeah.
He and I are going to start sort of car consignment, presenting cars and selling on bat because he has a lot of customers that need cars sold and we can present them and sell them and do the process. So we're going to start doing that. The first car is a 997 GT3 that they've been doing a little bit of work on. It's kind of getting prepped for sale.
Yeah.
So the interior was very dirty. We've had terrible weather here the last week or two,
Yeah.
where it's just been really gray and rainy and still humid and hot, but gray, no sun.
Yeah.
So so we looked at the car the other day. I think we were gonna film it, or we were gonna shoot it in cloudy weather, just because it's like, well, it'll still present really well. People know what a GT3 looks like. It doesn't all have to be beautiful hero shots. It can just be, some documenting photos and, flat lighting. And, but the interior was just not very clean. The front trunk had some stuff in it. So I borrowed it
I
to
think that's
clean
the
it.
used as it's meant to be used aesthetic.
Yeah, well, I wanted to
wrappers,
clean it because we're gonna try to shoot it tomorrow, and cleaning the interior and cleaning up the exterior would have been a lot to do in one afternoon. So
That is true.
I cleaned up the interior yesterday, so I had to take it home.
Yeah.
And it's a good car. It's such a good car.
997 GT3.
.1 base,
Point
like
one.
I say base. .1 GT3, not
Yeah.
RS. I drove an RS like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
On track with Hoosiers.
Yeah.
But it was not fast. It was like a parade lap. But like they are
Sounded good.
good cars. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I know if I were to drive a 997 GT3 back to back with a 991, I know that it's like the front end is not as planted and everything, but it just feels so direct
Yeah.
and firm. And then the shifter is just, it's like the shortest, most precise throw.
Yeah.
It's just so incredible.
one-
And then the engine is obviously incredible. I
Yeah.
mean, it sounds nuts at like 6,000. You've still got 2,000 more RPM or 2,000 plus more RPM.
Yeah. This is in line with what Tom said about his 996 GT3, that like it's just so much, like you just feel so much more because you can use the car
Yeah.
at street speeds.
Yes.
And like even though it's kind of a track oriented car, like to be able to enjoy it on the street and not just, this you can kind of rev it out a little bit. I would imagine. I've never driven a GT3, 997 GT3. But I imagine this you can use it on the street and it's maybe not comfortable, but
Yeah.
it's enjoyable.
Yeah, I don't remember the specs if it's 400 or 425 horsepower, but
Yeah.
it's a good amount. It's hard to say. If someone was like, here, you can have a 991.1 GT3 or a 997.1 GT3, I would take the 997 probably because I'm probably not tracking too much, and just like I love the size of a 997. I love the look,
Yeah.
and it is so usable, and it's a lot more special than a 991 because there's just so few of these.
Yeah.
Like there's just not many. I had it in my driveway for like 3 hours, and multiple people stopped.
Oh, really?
And commented and said things. 'Cause
Walking
it's like
by or driving by?
driving by, people
Wow.
stopped and just said they love it and everything. I mean, it looks so good. And this one, white with these BBS wheels,
Yeah.
it looks amazing. So
Yeah.
it's like, again, I don't know. I don't have room for more cars. I don't have money for any of this, but it's like a new, like,
Obsession.
yeah, it's like a new, like, I need one of these at some point
Wow.
somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, they're all going to be $1 million, including this one. I'm helping to drive up the price by
Yeah.
selling it.
We'll shoot some shitty pictures and maybe it'll drive down the price.
I could do that.
Yeah.
Could do that.
Yeah. What are they going for nowadays? Because I know 996 GT3s, they float in kind of like a reasonable-ish, like 70 to 90.
I think they're closer to 100 now.
Are they?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I think I saw like a Twitter thread that was like, what's the best sub $100,000 driving experience? And I was like, oh, 996 GT3 all day long. And
Yeah.
I looked at the prices and it's like, you could find some that are sub 100, but not a lot.
Well, that's a shame.
And so I think I think a 997 maybe is like 125,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
130. I could be way off. I don't
Yeah.
know. But who knows with our insane time.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I just honestly couldn't even say if like it's inflated because of the market or if this is like where those cars sit now. But-
Yeah. Like if the inflation stops, I could see a lot of cars like settling back down to normal. But I mean, like these GT3s, I don't know, especially with how few 997s there are because
Yeah.
they just didn't make that many.
Yeah. Like, and it's like the non-special cars, like 996 bases, like C2s and 997s. I actually don't see them coming back down necessarily, but I can't see them like going up much more than they have currently. I mean, they
Yeah.
probably went up like 25% over in like a year's time, basically.
Can we talk about Lisa's Boxster for a minute?
Sure.
So my sister-in-law had a Boxster.
Lisa needed braces, so
Lisa needed braces. She had a 987 2005. I helped her purchase in 2017, the end of 2017.
Yeah.
She kept it till mid 2019.
yeah.
I helped her buy it. I helped her sell it. It was, I think she bought it for 15 something and I sold it for 13 something, which it seemed like normal depreciation.
Yep.
And also the interior got a little bit unmaintained. The
Yeah.
exterior got a couple more dings.
But it had
the mirror
like
got
50,000
scraped.
miles on it.
54,000 miles when I sold it. The guy who bought it was actually a guy who went to Radwood, and he came from Dallas. He was like a 928 owner. He owned
Yeah.
a bunch of cars, I think.
Yeah.
He had a 928, and he's like, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to go to Colorado with it and back, just to enjoy the summer with it. And he did that, and then he sold it. So I looked up the VIN the other day because I saw a similar spec
Yeah.
base 2005 Boxster, same wheels on bat that sold for 20 grand. Because this car sold for 13 in 2019. So I was like, huh. So I looked up the VIN, and the buyer sold it like 3 months later.
Yeah.
After he in his selling description mentioned the trip.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if it was the next buyer was a dealer or what, but someone did a bunch of maintenance, bunch
Yeah.
of AOS, IMS, whatever that means on a 2005.
Yeah.
I don't think they anyway. But anyway, it has sold steadily for
More and
four
more.
times, raising $1,000 each time. So now
Yeah.
it's like, I think the last sale was for what, like 18, 19,000?
Something like that. Yeah, which actually is like the going rate for one of those
sure.
right now.
Yeah.
Which is insane because I remember like when you were talking about that car at 15, I was like, yeah, I guess that's reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And who would have thought like that was basically as cheap as it ever was going to be. So
Well, when I sold it, it was as cheap as it's ever going to
well,
be.
also that, yeah, yeah. So, and I mean, the same thing happened to your Boxster too, your 986S. Like that steadily went up and up as well
After I sold that one.
after you sold
That
it.
one- so my Boxster S, I bought it for 15.9
Yeah,
in 2013.
yeah,
And I sold it in 2016 for like 13.9.
yeah.
Which again was like normal depreciation, but I think those would go for more now.
And for like all the maintenance you did on it, and for the miles, I think those are still floating kind of in the 19-20 range
If
easily.
if I had, yeah, if I had, I mean, we talked about this, but when I sold that car, I was like, I've done everything, but like, I can point out some flaws. Like, it's not good enough for Bat. Bat is for the best of the best of the best. And in
Yeah.
2016, I did not want to put it on Bat. And nowadays, it'd be like, this would be a great car on Bat.
Oh
Not just
yeah.
because it's like I'm gonna get some crazy Bat of an adjusted price, just because it's like
Yeah.
this is that was one of the better 986s. It was the right place for it. Like
Yep.
it would do better. But I think Bat has
Yeah.
I think Bat has become a lot more accepting, for better or worse, whatever.
Yeah.
Was fine, but yeah,
It,
it didn't seem like a Bat car then, but I think if it was still in that shape or whatever. But
yeah.
I ended up, so both Boxsters I did sell on PCA Marketplace,
Yeah.
which I've had good experiences with.
Yeah.
Much better than Craigslist.
Yeah. I wish maybe I had considered that option, but my Cayman was like, I considered it to be like imperfect, even though the condition it was in when I sold it was very good. But
There was
like
just a lot of
it
documentation
had
to
like
get to there.
gotten, yeah, had been basically hit like 3 times, but I got it fixed properly each time. And I have seller's guilt, and so I just think in my head, well, if I'm buying this car, I'm looking at that,
Right.
and I'm not going to buy this thing, so I got to
Yeah.
price it accordingly. So I sold that for 20, I think 25 or 26 to a 21-year-old or something who had just gotten an inheritance and didn't know how to drive stick, but came down from Arkansas to pick it up. And he didn't even test drive the car. Like he had me drive him around in it, and then his mom said it was okay, and
Yeah.
so he bought the car. And then I Googled the VIN, and I saw that it was up for sale again, and he was selling it for the same price with like 20,000 more miles and
Wow.
horrible mods done
Ooh.
to it. So, and I'm sure that clutch was probably on its way out, although I did replace the clutch on that car.
You did?
I did, yeah,
Oh.
because the shop that
Oh,
did the first
right.
bodywork repair also burned up the clutch.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, but the same thing. I think it's safe to say, I think because we're kind of of the mind of picking cars that are appealing to us that are also just kind of good cars, like my E90 330i. Like, I mean, it's a very like normal car, but I thought that I liked it at the time. I thought it was like a really good like particular model because they only made that for 1 year. So I sold that for I think 10.5 in 2016 or something, and now those are still selling for the exact same price that I sold it for then.
Wow.
But that one, perfect maintenance, also had been hit. By the way, like literally just street parked, and so it had just been hit like 3 or 4 times. I don't even remember. And so I had seller's guilt again, and I priced it. Maybe it was low for the time, I don't know. But now, like cars that are 100,000 miles plus are still selling for that same amount. Actually,
Wow.
an automatic one went on bat for I think 12 or 13
Wow.
just recently, which is maddening because I honestly think that was one of the most perfect normal cars.
Right.
And I think your IS would do pretty well too.
Mine wouldn't. No.
Maybe with a few touch-ups, but I think
Yeah.
your car, you've done like kind of the heavy lifting maintenance on it,
Yeah. I don't know.
and they're rare. They're literally rarer and rarer,
Yeah.
like as the days go by. So
Yeah.
people are
it
hungry for
still,
wagons.
Still needs a lot of affection
Yeah.
on it, but it's a good car and I love it. But yeah, my Boxster, I probably could have sold it for more if I had like if I was in a position where I had another car and could hold out. That was where I was buying a car, selling a car to buy a car.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's always a tough position to be. If it's like I don't need the money tomorrow and I've got a way to store it, it's like I would have held out for, I could have waited for, I say the right buyer. I think I did find the right buyer though, because he was a guy in North Carolina. He paid everything to ship it out there, and he loved it. And
Yeah.
he emailed me how much he loved the car, and
Yeah.
that was really cool.
Yeah.
But so no regrets. I don't mean to make it sound like I have any regrets. I just mean I maybe could have commanded more money if I had been more patient with
Yeah.
like, oh, I can take 6 months to sell this because someone's gonna look at this and say, hey, this is worth the $4,000 premium because they did IMS, clutch, flywheel,
Yeah.
all this other stuff.
See, we're both very bad at selling cars. I wish I just had more like confidence that the car that I have is actually good.
Well, I mean, I'm way worse than you at buying cars because like when I bought that Boxster, it was like there was literally like one Boxster, like there would be like one Boxster S for sale at a time in all of Texas.
Yeah.
And I was not at that time willing to buy a car out of state or
Yeah.
didn't know anything about it, or I just like, and also that was another situation where I was selling a car and buying a car. And so
Yeah.
it's like you've got like the urgency.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, it was tough, but I did buy like one. You just fall in love with one, you see the listing, you fall in love with it, and then it's like any flaws, it's like I can get that fixed.
Yeah.
And then you immediately find out what Porsche repairs cost.
Yeah.
And yeah, you go from there.
Yeah, you go from there. And yeah, as that goes, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I ever had like, because I'm very thorough when I buy a car, PPI, hours on forums, just figuring out things. I've mostly never been bitten except like for the oil in the ECU issue with the E63,
Yeah.
which was unexpected and like it wasn't like terribly expensive to fix. Actually, the oil hadn't reached the ECU yet, but like had started wicking through the wiring harness, and that one I had never heard of before because it just sounds unbelievable.
It sounds made up.
Yeah. Everything else I knew about the car, like the what potential issues it had. I mean, it's low on brakes, so at some point I have to do that, and like the reclining mechanism to fold down the seats is currently broken, which means that it can't really be used as a wagon. But other than that, like, I think that might be the only thing. Everything else has just been like extremely, like that came in just like the clutch, and every time I got hit, part of the reason why I sold that car too was just like
The headliner.
oh god, the headliner was like, well, that just happens in Houston, I guess. But anyway, I just had like at that point, I think it was just wanted to get rid of it because there's so many like bad
Yeah.
feelings about owning that car. But anyways, enough about those old cars.
Yes.
How about we talk about old cars from 2004?
Wow. 2004.
Yes.
So this is Fuke, Marry, Kill, the game where we decide which one we would, out of three, we would we would own, drive once, and crush. And the year is 2004. So we've got some Alfa Romeo I've never heard of called the Visconti.
Yep.
Your internet's not very good. Oh, that's a concept. Okay, we're not doing a concept. I think it's a concept. DB9, a perfect car. DB9 is a
Pretty good.
perfect car.
Pretty
BMW
good.
1 Series, good 1 Series.
Good
Bristol
1
Fighter
Series.
doesn't count. Buick Across, no. CTSV, the bad one. STS, universally a bad one.
I liked those.
Okay. The 2004. I'm picturing the DTS.
I liked the. Oh no, you're right. I didn't like this one. I liked the 90s,
the 90s one. Yeah, I remember when like because I used to subscribe to Motor Trend in the 90s, and I remember like Motor Trend really trying to make the STS happen, and they're like, yeah, we put this with all the we put this against the M5. It's like, oh, okay. And you went to a proving ground. How'd that work out?
The same size as one. So
Yes. A Chagan, who was the
Changan.
I thought he was the boss on SVU.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
yeah, I
thinking
think
of
it was.
Kragen.
Yeah.
Cobalt SS, Colorado, Equinox, all trash. 30, Chrysler 300.
Oh my God.
Citroen
30.
C4.
Where did you get that from? Chrysler? You're okay. All right, settle down.
All right.
That 300 was good. It was the first one. That's a
yeah.
good one.
Yeah, and you could get the Hemi.
Get the Hemi. Remember when people did like Magnum swaps?
Yeah. Okay, we've got like a million more to go through.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
if we
right.
haven't heard of it, let's just skip it.
Fine.
Dodge Ram SRT10. All right, that's crusher. Can I crush that preemptively?
Yeah, sure.
Ferrari 612. Unfortunate looking. F430. I think a terrible looking car
Yeah, it's not good.
in base form. Second generation European Focus. Ford Freestyle, which my aunt had, and we referred to as the Ford Freeloader.
Oh my. That sounds like an inside joke to me, but
yes, well.
I know that you're gonna automatically eliminate the Mustang.
That was a decent Mustang, except for the rear half.
Yeah, yeah.
Ford
Ford
Territory, my
We
goodness. Okay, we
we'll
got
have
a
to ask
gas.
Jordan
We got
about that one.
a Honda FRV. Hyundai Tucson is probably a
I
bad one.
liked the FRV.
QX80, the current one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Did that really come out?
I think so.
Yeah, 2004 to
Yeah.
present.
Yeah.
Wow. New for 2021.
New for Jeep Grand Cherokee. Oh, that's a bad one. Koenigsegg CCR, also new for 96. You know the Koenigsegg started in 96.
I did not know that.
And it's the same.
Same, yeah.
I just don't care for them.
Yeah, I don't
at
either.
all.
A lot of just like rando brands that.
Ooh, the Quattroporte.
Ooh, yeah, the good
The good Quattroporte. The MC12, which we saw at the Peterson.
We did.
We didn't even talk about the Peterson, did we?
I don't think we.
We
we
would have
might
talked
have.
at length about the parking situation.
Yeah.
Anyway, Morgan Roadster SLK, decent one.
Yeah, I didn't like this one. I didn't like the. What's that?
The Noble M400.
Oh yeah, Wait, where are you? You are
I'm
skipping quite a bit.
Skipping a lot of Mercedes. Oh, CLS. CLS was such a.
I hated it when it first came out, and now I like that one.
I don't know if I loved it when it came out. I'm not sure if I like it now. But I recognize that it was revolutionary.
Are we on the right?
It started the trend of four-door coupes, which is now dead.
Yeah, you're right.
Porsche 997.
That is incorrect. However, I guess I clicked on it, and they're talking about when production began.
All right, let's all calm down here. Carrera
right.
GT 997, Pontiac Solstice, 3 of a kind.
Yep.
Some Renaults,
Renault Megane is
Scion
cool.
TC.
Yes.
Saab 92X. SAC Aero, that's a real dog shit car. TVR Sajaris, which I just talked about.
We always talk about the Sangyong, so
Do we?
yeah.
All right.
A lot of other market Toyotas came out. In fact, only other market Toyotas came out during that time.
Mm-hmm. And
Golf.
some
What is the
Volvos.
Golf Plus?
Probably a wagon that they named for that weird year.
It's an MPV. Volvo S40. Oh, the good S40 came out. That design.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That
So what's the 3?
Okay. So am I choosing for you?
You're choosing for me, and I'm choosing for you.
Yeah.
And if you give me all crap, I don't know.
We'll see. Okay, hang on. I got it. I'm gonna try to make it kind of tough.
Okay.
Aston Martin DB9.
Oh, okay. Wait. All right.
Porsche Carrera GT.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with, well, you basically would kill. I know that you would kill basically everything else. So I'm just gonna go with, in theme, Maserati MC12.
Ooh. Oh, that is tricky. I would go. Ooh. I guess I would crush the DB9, which I called a perfect car,
Oh my
just
God.
because I would drive the MC12 once and live
Yeah.
with the Carrera GT.
Yeah, yeah.
Which would probably be a terrible daily driver, but it'd be pretty cool.
I think you would not be dissatisfied.
Yeah, you would. Let's do it and be legends or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
Okay, I am going to posit to you
Ooh.
TVR Sajaris,
Yes.
F430,
Uh-huh.
and Koenigsegg CCR.
All right. Okay. I don't know anything about TVRs. I hate the way they look, but I mean they're kind of like they're cool, but like I don't find them like attractive. So
Okay.
I would F the TVR.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna have to kill the Koenigsegg because
Yes.
I just can't.
Yes.
And
Sorry to
And
editorialize.
I don't have to look at the F430.
Yeah.
So when I'm
Yeah.
driving it, so I'm gonna marry
Yeah.
that one.
I love it.
There you go.
Marianella.
Marianello.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
think that's a podcast.
Anyways, yes, I think that's a podcast. Thanks for
I
listening.
said it first.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right.
Do follow us on Instagram at new496.
Email us at new496 spelled out at Gmail.
Yep. Don't try our AOL account inactive as we received a letter in the mail. Stop sending mail to AOL. And I think that's it. All right. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.